April 2, 2022. This may be Trump's most twisted appeal to Putin yet. Donald Trump is doing it again, putting his personal goals and burning zeal for revenge above the national interest, as he once more appeals for Russian President Vladimir Putin's political help. In the midst of the brutality in Ukraine, Trump's call on the Kremlin strongman to dig up dirt on President Joe Biden is no surprise. He's called on Russia and China before to interfere in U.S. elections to boost his chances and got impeached for trying to blackmail Ukraine to do the same. But this may be the ex-president's most twisted and pathological attempt yet to corruptly advance his own political career ahead of a possible 2024 White House bid. His thinking seems to be clear. Putin might be raining atrocities on Ukrainian citizens, bombing hospitals, apartment blocks, razing entire cities and sending 4 million refugees west into Europe. But Trump seems willing to overlook all of that in service of his own perceived interests. Not only is Trump seeking to cook up a self-serving conspiracy with a Russian president much of the world now regards as a war criminal, he's also asking an enemy of the United States, who has threatened nuclear war, to damage the American commander-in-chief who is leading the West in an effort to aid an innocent, invaded nation and to save democracy. Trump's latest appeal offers a window into his twisted morality as he lines up again alongside Putin, whom he called a genius earlier in the Ukraine crisis, even as much of his own party condemned the invasion. And it raises fundamental questions about the patriotism of an ex-president who sometimes hugs the stars and stripes at his rallies but who often showed while in office that he cared only for his own interests. Trump issued his public appeal to Putin in an interview with sympathetic conservative news network Just the News. He pushed an unproven claim about Hunter Biden's potential business dealings in Russia, and asked Putin to release any information that he might have about the situation. "I would think Putin would know the answer to that," Trump said. "I think he should release it. I think we should know that answer. It's not clear that any material exists, or if the Kremlin has access to it. A Justice Department investigation into the president's son is gathering steam," CNN reported Wednesday, citing multiple sources. Investigators have examined whether Hunter Biden and some of his associates violated money laundering, tax and foreign lobbying laws, as well as firearm and other regulations, multiple sources said. But Hunter Biden has not been charged with any crimes and has denied any wrongdoing. His father is not being investigated as part of the probe of his son's business activities, according to sources who have been briefed. Some will argue that Trump's latest outrageous comments should be ignored, to deprive him of the political oxygen that he craves. Republicans will no doubt accuse Trump critics of taking his words too literally. But the words of an ex-president, especially at a time of war, carry weight. Trump remains the effective leader of the Republican Party. He's a hot favorite for the GOP nomination in 2024. Won nearly 47% of the popular vote in 2020 and could have a reasonable chance in a presidential rematch against Biden. Therefore, the ex-president has enormous political power, and his behavior and rhetoric must be examined by voters as they consider whether to return him to the Oval Office. There is every reason, especially in the light of his latest comments, to suppose a second Trump term would turn into an even greater quest for personal power and enrichment than the first. After all, he was willing to destroy American democracy by inciting an insurrection against a free and fair election to stay in power. The ex-president is also playing a huge role in November's midterm elections, endorsing candidates who back his democracy-threatening claims of electoral fraud.